You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How you been? What's up with you?
Been good, man. Getting a lot of feedback from people about our Just Adam interview. Really excited that we're finally making that happen. We spoke that shit into existence. I remember in our last episode of last year, so it's just cool, finally doing that, reaching out to an artist, finding out they fuck with you and they want to do it as well. So yeah, man, I've been on a high ever since that interview on Wednesday. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Like just on a fucking high.
Yeah, it's awesome that you mentioned that. I feel the same way. And we don't have to get into this right now, but after watching that Big Sean interview, which we may or may not get into in this episode, that experience of doing the interview, obviously we didn't get paid to do it. We didn't make any money from it. We didn't pay him to do it. I think just knowing that it produced that sort of feeling kind of made me come to the realization that this is our purpose of sorts. And we just wrapped up another interview earlier, and I think I'm really excited with this podcast to kind of delve deeper into those conversations with creatives like us, and just learn about them as people, because I think at the end of the day we all want the same thing. We're striving towards something, but a lot of us internalize it and are afraid to talk about it, or think we're gonna be judged because we haven't quote unquote made it yet. When we had just a few subscribers, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I didn't even want to tell people I had a podcast because I was like, they're gonna be like, oh, this fool has 3 followers. He's just doing what everyone else does. He's just playing around and wasting time. But now that it's become more real, now I'm more confident in it, and it shouldn't be that way. So I think it's dope that we're kind of doing this and showcasing what other aspiring artists or whatever are going through.
Yeah, man, because it's almost like you feel like, the people we talk about on the podcast, especially the up and coming artists, which is probably what we're going to focus on when it comes to interviews, at least initially, right? You feel like, we're coming up together. I'm invested in you, and I know you're invested in me, because you could have, at least Just Adam, and then we'll talk about the artists we interviewed today, they could do interviews with anyone. You know what I mean? They have enough followers that, at least one other podcast, if not more, has reached out to them and said, yo, can we do the interview? They're like, nah, it's just not the right time, it's not a good fit. So it was cool, especially with Just Adam, for him to not know us, just 2 people who fucking are fans first and foremost, reached out. He first checked our content. I obviously got girlfriend's approval with it. She pushed him and nudged him. But the fact that, when he said, yo, I was checking out your content, I really respect what you guys are doing, that, that shit made you just feel like, all right, I can stick my chest out a little bit more, and yo, I really do, we're really going to make this, something, right? At least try. Which I'm just glad we're trying. It would suck if after the first year, yo, this is not going anywhere. We got 27 subscribers, bro. What are we doing here? Let's call it a day. Yeah.
And I think that was kind of a goal for us even way back then. You may have brought it up to me yo, eventually we should interview my boy, or this dude DJ I know, or whatever. In the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, that'd be dope, but I'm low-key embarrassed to be like, yo, you want to do an interview and it's gonna have 5 views, and it's gonna be me, you, and our girls watching it or something. But now that we've definitely, for the viewers who aren't aware and aren't looking down, we have over 2,000 subscribers now. Definitely, the hard work is paying off for us, and I think now we definitely want to just kind of test the waters and speak with cool people who have the same mission, and I'm just really happy with how things are progressing. Obviously you are, and it's just nice to see all that hard work finally pay off, because this shit took forever for us.
Yeah, and it's not even also just being a fan, bro. I remember sitting back on, I think Friday before we posted the full interview, And like, yo, this is like enjoyable. Like, it's not just us being like, oh, this is cool. Like, we're doing this, ha ha ha. Like, it's enjoyable. Because I remember, like, yo, one of my favorite interviews of all time, I think it was Cuddy with like either Canadian or like a French radio station. And like, he went and broke down like every single song on Man of the Moon Part 1. And like, but it was just an enjoyable way. And I just feel like in the Just Adam interview, I kind of felt that same, like, yo, we're just getting like such a like amazing insight into a new artist and like letting fans understand even more of who they fucking already fell in love with from like a music standpoint. So like, that's just like, it's cool that, you know, that's our purpose per se. It's cool that we can be that bridge for fans who like don't really know that much about certain artists they find on SoundCloud or iTunes or Spotify. Cause dude, like honestly, like that shit's like amazing for me, especially like when you feel like you're like the first one to know about someone, like you just feel that much more bought in. So like if we can be that for people, that's fucking dope.
For sure. And I don't know if Just Adam, if you're watching this, I mean, I think kudos to you for even discovering his music and bringing it to our platform. I think he was the perfect first artist we could have interviewed to ask for. And I think it was super dope, like you mentioned, that we kind of shared the same mission. Obviously, we're huge fans, and you know, he's kind of like that, similar to us with the podcast. You know, that undiscovered talent that is just trying to reach out to a bigger base, but people haven't heard him yet. I think even in one of his songs, and I forgot to ask him about it, he mentioned there was a bar in there, kind of him saying like, you know, I'm not slept on. People just haven't heard me yet. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. It's like, you know, your shit is dope. You maybe part of you is pessimistic because you're like, yo, I only have like 8 listeners. Like, does this mean I'm not as dope as I think? When in reality, all it is that the rest of the world has yet to discover you. So I think that was kind of the theme I got from the conversation with him. Like, he's clearly not someone who's attention seeking and wants, you know, overnight fame and success. Like, he's like, this is my craft, my calling, and eventually the universe is gonna you know, come about and make things happen for me. So I thought that conversation was really eye-opening.
100%, man. Yeah, and again, it just like, at least for us, I feel like it was a level of like, I don't know about ticking a box, but like just a level, like, it's nice to be acknowledged. You know what I mean? Especially from someone in the industry. It's like, yo, like, keep doing what you're doing. Like, this shit is good, right? Because I did it like sometimes, like, and like we're trying to get more engagement on the page. You know, people leave comments. You know, sometimes it is, sometimes it doesn't happen. And obviously, our friends all look out for us. Like, even if it's bad, they're not gonna tell us. Like, at least that's what we're thinking. It's cool when you have other people who are just like removed from you, don't know you, and are like, yeah, dude, this shit's fire. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Like, so that was, I definitely appreciate that. Cause again, like, we've definitely had moments, maybe not verbally to each other, but we're like, man, what, like, I'm gonna record this shit again on a Wednesday. Like, yo, no one's listening to this shit. Like,
yeah. Well, my girl would make fun of me. Like, before, she's like, cause I don't know, let's say she wanted like to have dinner with me or some shit. And I'm like, no, I got to record tonight. And she's like, oh, for your like 25 listeners or like 3 listeners or whatever the case is. And yeah, I would chuckle because like, I understand, like, even part of me is like, you know, is this really worth it? But I generally have fun like doing this on a weekly basis. It doesn't feel like a task, like another thing to check off my list. Like, fuck, I gotta do that shit for an hour. Like, man, life sucks. For me, it's like, I get to do that. That was another thing from the Big Sean interview, which we'll eventually dive deeper into. But he talked about changing his mind frame from I got to do that to I get to do that. Yeah. And for me, like, this is a blessing. And even if there is fucking 2-3 listeners, like, it's fun. It's therapeutic to me in a way. So that's why I really appreciate it.
It's very therapeutic for sure. But yeah, like, I think like we brought up with my brother, who's also a rapper, Leoden, who's going to be our next interview. We just wrapped that up, by the way. That'll be coming out this week. It's cool though when like other people, like, because he said that he's not looking for the acknowledgement, but it's cool when you get that shit. You know what I mean? Like, when you're an artist, you get that blue check mark, it means, all right, you made it. And like, yo, I had people who, like, yes, friends, but like friends who I never talk about the pod with, for the same reasons, right? Like, I don't want them to be like, yo, like, you're 32 years old, you're really recording a podcast, and like, who cares, bro? It was dope to have people reach out to me who I never talk about the podcast with, letting us know that, yo, you guys are killing it. I watch interviews like this all the time, and this was fucking amazing. So like, that was cool, man. So again, I feel like that was like the little push maybe we both needed to just, you know, the numbers are great. Obviously, the fucking subs, may they keep going up, God willing. And they're at 10,000, you know, at some point this year. But it's dope when people you never talk about the podcast with are like, yo, that shit was dope, man. Keep going. So that's what I'm most encouraged about, especially after that Just Adam interview.
For sure. And shout out to my brother, Michael. Like he's one of the few people that will every now and then like bring up something from the podcast, just like out of the blue. And I never like send links to people and like, yo, please listen to this episode. I just don't like bombarding people with anything I do like that. But every now and then I'll be like, oh, I remember that time you and Danny talked about this. I thought this was funny, or I thought this was dope. And then it just makes me feel like, okay, like I am like, this is bigger than just us. Like other people are actually tuning in and appreciate our opinions. Like at the end of the day, who gives a fuck about anybody's opinion? But clearly we do it in a way to where, you know, they get something out of it, whether just entertainment value or knowledge or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes it's, I mean, luckily, I feel like most times we try to achieve both. But yeah, same, dude. I have a boy, shout out to my boy Sammy, like a brother to me from New York. He found out about Hinge because of me. You know, when I brought it up on an episode, he's like, bro, the episode with Hinge, how's the date scene going? But I'm like, yo, well, how do you know about this? Like, the podcast. I'm like, oh, that's right. I was talking about this shit. Like, so it's so refreshing when that happens, bro. Like when people you don't even know listen to it, you know, bring it up in a normal conversation. Definitely friends, family, keep doing that shit. But again, we love our listeners, our new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. You know, leave comments, man. We'll engage with you. If there's some topics or a rapper or an artist you think we should be fucking with, let us know, and we'll do our best to get them on the podcast.
For sure.
All right, man, let's fucking jump into it. Obviously, but just want to do, as always, a life update, man. How are you? How's how's life? How's the job hunt, man? How's life in California? I see you drinking more outside. Like, yo, how's things going on over there?
Yeah, life is good right now. I feel like I'm in that music video with Drake when he's talking to him and they're like taking out the trash and shit. I can't really complain. In terms of like the job hunt, I mean, I've been interviewing like crazy. I won't disclose where just because I don't know how weird people can get. I'm not going to deal with no cancel culture bullshit. Like when we hit 5 subscribers and someone wants to ruin my life. But it's going good. For those who don't know, I'm moving to San Francisco in a few weeks. So I'm making sure I'm not trying to be, you know, selling crack on the corner to finance the expensive rent out there. So I've been looking for some full-time roles. Hopefully this will be that for us sometime soon. But yeah, I can't complain. California is not open, but like there is outdoor dining. Some restaurants even just said, fuck it. I heard like my favorite hookah bar down the street. My boy just told me they're like, yeah, we're just taking a risk. Like come in.
Fuck it, dude. They can't shut down everybody. Like as long if everyone just opens, what are they gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like I know it's a risk, like because if you are that one that gets fucking caught, they might just take your liquor license. But if everyone legit was like, yo, we're opening, what are you gonna do? Dude, nothing's happening. Yeah.
And I mean, they're a hookah bar. And I feel like the owner or manager was just like, yo, the fine we get for getting caught is probably far less than the money we can make if we just keep this shit open low key. So I think California is at their at wit's end or whatever. And we're just like, all right, let's do what we can. But yeah, I think for me, just like the focus now is having a new gig and then also working on this podcast with you, continuing to pump out as much music as possible. Fortunately, that's been going pretty well, which was always a challenge for me just with the writer's block and inspiration. But now I'm like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If it makes me happy and isn't lethal, I'm doing it. So
yeah, nice. Nice. I'm excited about that. I didn't realize how soon. So what's like your move-in date to your place in San Fran?
It's supposed to be April 2nd, but then I called U-Haul because my girl and I, we were like, should we get movers? Reach out to a bunch of companies, and they were like, yeah, this is gonna cost you like $3,000. And I'm like, we don't even have that much shit, to be honest. We don't have like a bed, mattress. We don't have a couch. So I told my girl, I'm like, let's just get a U-Haul. We'll drive up there for a few $100.
Drop it off there.
Like,
yeah.
And we temporarily moved out of our apartment back home with our parents. So, and we did all that moving ourselves. Like, that's how much little stuff we had. So I'm like, we're not paying several grand to just have some company do it. So organize it through U-Haul, but then U-Haul's like, we have a shortage of vans. You got to call in like a day before. And she's like, there might be like a day or two difference from when you can go, or you might get a bigger van free of charge. So it's kind of up in the air, but regardless, it's going to be beginning of April. Nice,
man. All right, well, soon, man. So that's exciting. Very exciting for you. Moving always sucks, but I feel like when there's probably something, you tell me if I'm wrong, the idea of just like, you know, you could have been in a very bad space. You know what I mean? Like, everything that happened at the end of last year, you know, leaving your job, like, and I just feel like, bro, it's been pretty encouraging just to see you like roll with it and like thrive in it. So I feel like there's probably like another level of like excitement to like, all right, man, I'm going to actually like leave LA, just try something else out. And if it doesn't fucking work, whatever. But like, you know, so just for me, the outsider, bro, just know, I'm like, I'm super proud of you, man. Cause like a lot of people could have just fucking like, yeah, I'm fucking unemployed. Like, what are we doing? Like, no, we're not moving. So like, kudos to you just fucking thriving and you know, excelling during this fucking time.
I really appreciate that, bro. I will say part of it has to do with the fact that there's a pandemic, and like, I know that I'm not alone. I can't say I would be this well put together if the pandemic hadn't taken place and everyone had, you know, their jobs and jobs they loved and had shit figured out. Like, I think that kind of set expectations for me. Like, okay, it's okay that I'm just like freelancing on the side and don't really know where I'm going to end up next. I feel like everyone is experiencing some sort of confusion at this time. So that helped me sleep better at night, you could say. Yeah, for sure. It's like you're not in this by yourself. So I get that. Dude, for me, life's been good, man. Like, I took it easy this past weekend, just me and my girl just chilling at the house. The weather was shit. And we're also coming up on the year anniversary of my mom passing, which is fucking wild. So like, I can mentally trying to prepare for that. I'm going to Tulum with immediate family on Wednesday. So we're going to do it. You know, my mom was big into traveling, which I mentioned before on the pod. So just want to go somewhere. Like, the idea of like throwing another house party in New Jersey, like, on the surface it's cool, but it's like, that's not what she would want. You know what I mean? Like, let's go somewhere and like celebrate like her life, right? It's gonna be all the celebration of life. So we're calling it like a hashtag, like Tulum for Theni. Yeah, man, just gonna enjoy life, go out there. Again, mentally preparing for that. I found out I don't have to take a COVID test to go there. So I'm like, oh, wow. Like, mentally, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I couldn't get psyched up to go recently because I'm like, what if I have it and I just can't go? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about getting stuck there because I'm like, bro, I'll figure it out. Like, I'll bring my laptop, I'll work. Shit, that's not a bad place to be stuck for like a week or two.
Right. I'll just fucking rack up my credit card and like, yo, figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. But the idea of like not being able to go, like, I take this test, maybe comes back negative or positive because of a fuck up situation. And I'm like, damn, bro, I can't even go celebrate my mom. Like, really? Like, so like, I feel like that was like weighing on me. So once I found out I didn't have to take a test, now I'm like, all right, let's move on to whatever the next wave of grief is, you know, in this process. So yeah, man, excited to be out there for almost a week and just, you know, enjoy life, live it up for her, acknowledge her, you know, have her around us. So like, yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be 6 of us, dope ass Airbnb. And also the partying out there is meant to be crazy. So if anyone knows my mom, she's the biggest party animal in the world. Put me to shame multiple times for like 10 years. So like, yeah. So I think Tulum, at least right now in the current environment of the world, is exactly where we need to be to celebrate her because there's really nowhere else to go, right? Like, so yeah, I'm excited about that, man. So that's what's coming up for me. Besides that, man, jump into the pod. I feel like the biggest thing from last week, bro, tell me if I'm wrong, is that Drake drop, bro. Like, out of nowhere. It wasn't Certified Lover Boy, but it was fucking something. 3 tracks, dog, that shit it's gonna go #1 on the Billboard. If you haven't heard it yet, you're under a fucking rock. Drake drop I guess technically an EP, Scary Hours Part 2. 3 songs, 1 song just him, 1 with Little Baby, 1 song with Rick Ross. Him and Rick Ross just go flawlessly together, bro. That's like, that's some like soulmate shit right there. Like you just like, wow. So your thoughts on the album, bro, or whatever the fuck I'm gonna call it.
EP
but your thoughts on your thoughts on the drop, and like, you know, did you fuck with it? You know, like, you know, what do you think his plan is behind this? Because obviously Drake's always, you know, miles ahead of us when it comes to this shit.
Yeah, I thought it was phenomenal. It wasn't clearly like enough for me to be like, all right, I'm cool. It was just, for me, it was kind of like a teaser, like watching a dope ass trailer and then being like, all right, there's more he has to give us. But yeah, I mean, Drake again impressing us over and over. Typical Drake. Wasn't anything like from left field that, you know, was hard to grasp or anything. It was like the shit he always does, but he always finds a way to catch your ear and make it intriguing. And it was exactly what we needed. I just hope Certified Lover Boy, which I hear isn't going to come out till April. I hope
which again is next month. You know what I mean? Like this fucking year is like low-key flying by.
Yeah, that's wild now that you mention it, because I'm like, shit, it feels like January was yesterday and now we're already like mid-March. So that's wild to me. But I just hope Certified Lover Boy is similar to this and it's not too like mopey or slow and emotional.
Yeah, because this was some like no singing, which again, the title of the album, Certified Lover Boy, implies there's gonna be some singing, but I feel you though, because this like it's I agree with you saying like typical Drake shit, but also like not typical Drake shit, right? Because like the What's Next beat sounds like something from today, but him rapping not like his normal self. Like I don't know, bro, like that What's Next song, video, visual, bro, fucking amazing, like amazing. And he's fucking spitting some fucking hard fucking bars on that. I texted you when the shit dropped that line about this is going number 1 or whatever the fucking exact lines are, but it's going number 1 on the top 100. This ain't no bundle. Like I was like, yo, he heard episode 25 when we were shitting on Nav. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I think he knows what he's doing. I think it's just a tease. I'm sure he knows that he probably put it out that people got that leaked version of CLB like 2 weeks ago. So maybe he's like, let me put some shit out real quick to keep them engaged, and then I'll come back in a month or 2 months with the full project. But bro, to drop fucking 3 songs and that shit go number 1 immediately, bro, I feel like only he can do this shit, bro. Because with all due respect to Jay-Z, and I love Jay, you know that, bro, when him and Beyonce dropped that joint album, Beyonce and Jay are the biggest thing. Bro, when the Carters dropped, people were like, like, all right, bro, like, you know, like the world didn't end. Bro, this dude put out 1 post about Scary Hours the day before, and everyone's like, oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's wild how he has that power. And I mean, we talked about this in the interview earlier, but you know how like it's the classic example of when an artist complains about, you know, being second on the charts or, you know, their single not being promoted enough or whatever. And you're just like, yo, you have 100 million in the bank. Like, shut the fuck up. But now when we just interviewed Leo, then we chatted about how, you know, there is that recognition component. And I think these artists, like, yeah, they can make millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, like if Certified Lover Boy was shat on by the public, like Drake, honestly, I don't think he would care. I think he wouldn't care if it was number 1 and made millions of dollars. He would care about what people were saying on Twitter and Instagram and everything else.
Yeah, because there has to be a level when you get like, you know, Jeff Bezos, for example, like, you know, at some point, like the billions don't matter. It's you want to be the richest in the world. You know what I mean? It's not like the specific millions. Like, it's not like if he was a millionaire, whatever, like, I want to be the best kind of thing, right? I want to be considered the best businessman in the world. And I think with Drake, it's that, bro. It's like, I think he hears people, right? I mean, Charlamagne the God brought this up, I think a couple months ago in an episode of Brilliant Idiots, where he was like, he doesn't think Drake has that level of impact anymore. And you know Drake hears this shit, bro. Like, how wouldn't he? You know what I mean? So I feel like this was a subtle reminder. Like, yo, I'm not ready yet to drop, but just know, like, I run this shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one out here fucking with me. And I think, bro, those 3 songs all delivered, bro. Like, that show's impressive. Like again, they were on the album, you know, that's fine. But to just put out that small body of work and like, people played that shit for hours on end, just, you know, on fucking repeat. Like, like that got phenomenal reviews, and rightly so, because all 3 tracks stand out by themselves. But to just say, here, take it, love it, and leave me the fuck alone for 2 months, that's a fucking flex in itself.
Yeah. And we may have chatted about this before, but at what point do you think Drake will become Jay-Z? Like that guy who's in and out, and he's like kind of the old guy who's dope, and you'll listen, but he's not it. Like he just pops in and out. Like, do you think it would take Drake to do other ventures and force that upon himself? Or do you think the fans will do that to him? Like, all right, nigga, we heard about your fucking, I don't know, Nike deal or whatever, like 5,000 times. We don't need this shit.
We're over the fucking Jumpman shit. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Like, cause it's sometimes like you have to like envision it, and like I don't ever like he has especially cause social media, bro. Like this shit's massive, right? So like he has so many stands, bro. So like even if this shit were to flop, hypothetically, critically, like his fans are gonna eat this shit up regardless. And he just has like, he's almost Eminem level where like his fan base is so huge that they're always going to require and want more. So I honestly agree. I think it would have to be like if he goes into different business ventures and he's like, I just don't have time to fucking be in the studio nonstop and put out content. But dude, again, he's been, relevant for almost 13 years now, bro. And he's never shown that the business things are the reason why he does this, right? I feel like with Jay-Z, like he was a hustler that figured music could be my hustle, and I can then leverage that to make more hustles happen, right? Like he always, like Drake was, like, remember that interview he did on Tidal with B. Dot, I think, and he was like, bro, like I really live this rap shit, you know what I mean? Like I live my life to figure out new ways to put in my music so I can talk about it. So I don't know, bro. I honestly, again, obviously everyone's reign comes to an at some point. Like, they say that phrase, Father Time is undefeated. But in music, bro, he's 33. Like, we're really good. You know what I mean? Like, he probably has 7-10 more good years of fucking quality content that I'm just excited for, as opposed to thinking it's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, agreed. I think when we talked about top 5, like, just the amount of influence he has and the fact that he never seems to be slowing down makes me feel like he has to be part of that conversation. Like, you just can't ignore him.
I think Adam said it, bro. Like, if he's not in your top 5, you're legit a hater. Like, you're just hating. Like, you're like, no, fuck him. Like, I don't want to have a Nickelodeon guy in my fucking top 5. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're legit a hater because, like, there's no way he's not in anyone's top 5. Like, it's just crazy. Well,
I think you're a hater if you don't put him in there objectively, but I think a lot of people, like, and I think he mentioned this too, was their top 5 is who like had an impact on them personally.
On them specifically? Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
so that's why like Slick Rick and shit will be part of, let's say, Leodin's list. And then you might have fucking Lil Yachty or like Lil Uzi Vert when you're like 16 years old or whatever.
Sure. But even that, I would question that person that has Yachty in any top 5. Yo, side note, bro. Like I respect Yachty because clearly he's found some niche that he still makes. It appears millions of dollars every single month and like is living a very good life. So who are we to talk anything about him? But like it's also, you have to question something. If like all I ever hear him say is like reminding us of why that he really is a good rapper. He's like, he's always like telling us like in tweets, like, I'm better than your favorite rapper. I'm like, but why can't your music tell me that? Like, cause your music isn't telling me that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's like kind of the weird, again, kudos to him. Like, again, I fuck with a couple Yachty songs overall, but it just seems like he's always trying to remind us, but not with the music, that his music is fire. And I'm like, but why can't your music tell me that? Yeah.
I think it goes back to the recognition thing. Cause before I'm like, I'm like, if I was in Yachty's shoes, I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, I'm making money, I'm getting sponsorships and shit, but it must be hard if, the craft that makes most of your money is the one people are saying is a waste of your time, like on a daily basis, and people in the industry like a Joe Budden or whatever who have huge influence telling you that. It must suck to like
it has to, dude.
Have that in your head all day. Like no matter how much money you make, it's like, yo, my purpose on this earth, or what I think is my purpose, is pissing people off. Like it just seems backwards, I guess, if you're in that position. Yeah, it has to suck. But yeah, I mean, again, shout out to him and All Quality Control. Again, they know how to make money and good music. That was just a weird observation I kept seeing. Like, I feel like he's always tweeting about like, yeah, I'm your favorite. I'm like, bro, like, are you though? Like, I mean, like, why do you keep talking about it? Like, just do it. But yeah, again, shout out to Drake then. Phenomenal release. Going #1. And dude, that has to put to our conversations back in January when we felt like people weren't putting music out because of like him. Dude, that has to make other artists like, really, motherfucker? Like, you just come out with this and like you still fucking dominate? Like, that's crazy. Tory Lanez. I was like, damn, he definitely didn't know about this album coming out, because I'm like, damn, Drake couldn't have, like, I don't know, done a group text or something and be like, yo, Tory, just wait a couple weeks. Just chill, bro. Well, yo, did you get a chance to listen to that R&B capsule? Was it it's called Playboy? I think so. And I didn't listen to the full thing, but there's one really, really dope track on there. I have it on my playlist. It's not Heat of the Week, but it's called, oh shit, I don't have it on here. Hold on 1 second. All good, bro. Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't heard it yet, but it's Lady of Neptune. Lady of Neptune. Okay, I'll give that a peep tomorrow during the gym workout. Yeah, I mean, there were just so many other things going on this weekend that I didn't have a chance. Like, honestly, dude, I listened to fucking Scary Hours for like 3 hours, bro. I was like, play it back. Like I went for a 4 mile. Oh no, I went for a 2 mile run on Saturday, and I think for 1.9 of those miles, it was just what's next. Fucking repeating. What's next? Scary Hours is next. What's next? Exactly, dude. So, but I'll definitely peep Tory, because obviously we're still team Tory all day on this podcast. So cool. What I did do on Friday, bro, that was cool. I just remembered a pre-COVID event. I went to the movie theaters because Boogie came out. So Boogie is a movie written and directed by Eddie Huang. Shout out to Eddie Huang. Big fan of his since the Viceland days on Huang's World. That show he had about his family on ABC called Fresh Off the Boat. So he wrote and directed this movie about an Asian, Taiwanese, Chinese basketball player growing up in Queens, New York, and the drama of just being a Chinese basketball player trying to make it to the NBA, and like you're in the hood and no one respects you because you're Asian. Another cool thing about the movie, Pop Smoke's in the movie. Dude, Pop Smoke has 3 unreleased songs on the soundtrack, which are fucking dope. So if you have it, it's not my Heat of the Week, but definitely go check out the Boogie soundtrack, because there's a lot of fucking good material on that you should be listening to right now. But dude, Boogie was great, man. Like a really good movie. My girl didn't really fuck with it. I'm not gonna lie. Like she just went because of me. Yeah. I would definitely go watch it by yourself. But if she's cool to just watch it, I mean, Sarah might have like other reasons. Well, yeah, my girl's Asian, so I don't know. If, like, so that might be cool for her. But yeah, Gina was just like, it's like terrible. That's but I enjoyed it, bro. First of all, it's just cool to see Pop Smoke, man. Like especially you're seeing him. This movie was filmed 2 years ago, bro. So he's legit 18, 19 in the movie, playing a high school basketball player. He's so New York, bro. Like to his essence, like it's just fucking great. And the guy they got to the main Boogie, the main Asian character. It's a cool story, man, and it was appealing to me because like it's not one we hear every day, right? Like when are we ever hearing about Asian basketball players except Jeremy Lin? And I guess Eddie Huang doesn't fuck with Jeremy Lin because they shit on Jeremy Lin the entire movie. So damn. Yeah. It's funny. They bro. Must have some low-key beef or something. Low-key beef. Yeah. I don't want to give it away, like because they say why I don't fuck with him in the movie. But yeah, it's worth the watch. It's only in theaters, so that's why I went to the movie theater to watch it. And I watch it on HBO Max. But yeah, man, I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's a good, fun story. And if you just want to get more Pop Smoke content, because again, at some point we are going to run out, unfortunately. It's definitely worth an hour and a half of your time. Nice. Great to hear. My girl and I, I was trying to download it this weekend because unlike you, we don't have movie theaters in this bitch. So that was like my only option. Couldn't find it. But I did want to ask you, because like, as much as I love the sentiment of the story and just what it's all about, sometimes I just get like an air of like cheesiness, just from like how over dramatized like the scenes are of like Pop Smoke mad dogging him and shit. I don't know if there's like corny Jackie Chan jokes in it and shit like that. Like, how do they do it in a more believable way, or is it like straight up over the top where
everything's
so first of all, an Asian joke and
yeah, no, dude, it's very believable, bro. It's very believable, and they do a good job that they're talking in whatever. I don't want to fucking come across ignorant. I don't know what the main language is for Taiwan, so I don't know if it's Mandarin or Cantonese, but they're talking that language a good amount of times when they're at home. So that brings some authenticity to it. And also, dude, most basketball movies are corny because they do over the top shit in the game where I'm like, bro, stop. Like, that's not real. So they film the basketball stuff in a very believable way. And then the acting, it's not just like fucking, calling him a dumpling or something,
like
something mad racist. Yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that. Like they're legit treating him like another dude from the hood. Because he comes across that way, bro. He looks very American. Like, yes, he's Asian, but he looks like a normal American. Like, his mannerism is American. Like, only sometimes you see his ancestry come through, which is, again, is cool. But then when he's by himself, you can see the weight of his ancestry holding him back, in a sense. Like, damn, I'm just trying to play ball, bro. Like, I don't want to have to deal with like thousands of years of heritage also on my shoulders because like whatever. So like, it's a dope movie, bro. And especially as us, like, essentially being like coming from immigrant parents, or not immigrant, but just like knowing like our family's not from here and you're just trying to make it. It's unique to see a dude just trying to make it, but also because he comes from like Chinese heritage, that comes with its own weight as well. So you can't just make it. You got to make it to a certain level to make sure you live up to certain standards. So again, for me, I was taking all of this like to certain depths. My girl was just like,
it's like just some basketball shit. I guess it's cool.
So, I guess it's cool. Like, he has nice shoes. Like, but like, I would definitely recommend like download it, find it online. It was a good movie. I give like a solid like a B plus if I was gonna give it a grade.
Nice, good to hear. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it. And I don't know how it was for you growing up, like if you were around Asians much, but I know in LA, like, and even college, I mean, I've been around a lot of different races, and I was accustomed to like, quote unquote, in my high school, like being around some hood Asians, like I went against the grain in terms of the stereotype, whereas, the kid from Wisconsin might think of like the super nerdy Chinese kid who doesn't speak a lick of English or whatever. But people like Boogie, like I'm like friends with right now. I mean, I haven't seen the movies, so I can't say that with 100%.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just talking about like regular ass American Asian kid that isn't a nerd and weak and all these other bullshit stereotypes that the media puts out there. Like, there's regular ass dudes that just happen to be Asian who are just as American as you, and I think we unfortunately haven't really gotten these stories until now.
Right, which again, another reason why I highly recommend the movie. And I was like, yo, it's coming out Friday. We're going to the movie theater. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm like, yo, this story, again, I support almost anything Eddie Huang, including his old restaurant in Soho called Bauhaus. But bro, he is super talented storyteller. And I think this is a story that Americans need to hear, especially now, man. Because like, honestly, like, you might look at it as well, just being like, obviously, from the Black community, like, you like, oh shit, like, yo, you like these other, races also deal with some shit here. Like, what I mean? It's not just, brown people getting the worst of it. It's like, bro, they don't fuck, like, America really doesn't fuck with anyone but their own to a certain extent, right? Like, we'll fuck with you, but like, we ain't really fucking with you kind of thing, right? So like, that's the cool thing about this is like, bro, like, yo, we also love it here, but hate it here at the same point. Like, we're grateful for the opportunity, but fuck, bro, let us have the opportunity. Like, don't just have like the opportunity with like all these fucking strings attached to it as well. So definitely a dope story for, I think that a lot of minorities can relate to.
Mm-hmm. And the timing is perfect because I don't know if, you may or may not be familiar, but with the increase in attacks on elderly Asians and stuff.
It's wild, bro. Like wild.
And I think you bring up a good point with, being from an immigrant family and stuff. I think Asians in particular, their challenge is a lot of Americans see them as outsiders, like regardless, like half the time they may come across, a 17-year-old Asian girl or boy and be like, oh my God, like you speak great English. And it's like, yo, I
was born here,
literally
bro.
I was born here. Like I'm from fucking the Bronx. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's a challenge just because we already have this assessment of like who they are, and they're never really truly American, and they might be, more American than you, for instance. So it's like,
yeah, it's always like where you're from. Like it's like,
mm-hmm.
oh, I'm from San Diego. No, but like where are you really from? And it's like, the fuck? Like,
mm-hmm. And I don't think you and I would. We might deal with like racism just because we're have a darker complexion, but no one's gonna be like, yo, like where are you really from? Like, this dude's probably from like fucking Dallas or some shit. There's no other like
exactly.
input.
It's like it's a level of racism, but like it's a racism was like, all right, but you're American, you're just different,
mm-hmm.
You're a different shade. Whereas for sure, like Asians or like Arabics or Indians, like, oh, like no, but where are you really from? And it's like, the fuck
mm-hmm.
do you mean, fam? Like I'm from here.
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Nice. But did you get a chance to speak about, say on the topic of movies, you get a chance to watch the Biggie doc on Netflix?
I did. Great documentary. I think with that, I was particularly excited about it because I had totally forgotten about his Jamaican heritage.
Dude, same. Like I knew his mom wasn't from here, but it was phenomenal to get that story.
Yep, for sure. And my dad's Jamaican. And it's weird because growing up, I never really considered him like an immigrant or like quote unquote outsider. I was just like, oh, he's my dad. He happens to be Jamaican. We would visit Jamaica like almost religiously like every year, and it felt like a second home to me. And if anything, I was just really proud because like part of me felt like the American culture didn't really have much to like latch onto. I'm sure you probably feel that way about like the American culture, that it's just like it just feels more exciting in a way to have a different culture to attach yourself to. And I think that was dope that he brought that back into his music, and how he even mentioned how he felt like an outsider at school because like the other people were more street than him, and he had like these immigrant parents who knew nothing about that shit. So it humanized him and made me able to connect with him because he was like a regular ass person to me. Before this, I thought he was this cold-hearted fucking gangster who was just fucking shooting people left and right and all that, but he just seemed like a regular dude who was just trying to make it out of the hood and loved his mom obviously, and unfortunately reached a point where like he wasn't suicidal, but just was like, fuck, life kind of sucks. And
for sure, dude. So like it's funny how you say that because your impression of him was like this very aggressive dude. So like I get that for sure. What I like about this doc, did you ever get a chance to watch the Biggie movie, like the actual film?
I did, but I think it was kind of like just on regular cable television, and I didn't really
you just like it was like on. So the issue I had with that one, which initially I was tentative to watch this one, is because his mom was the had full control of the movie, okay? And to people listening who watched the movie fully, like she depicted him like a saint, okay? Like yes, he did some wild shit, but like this dude was the best human being in the world, never did shit wrong. And you're like, bro, like, all right, maybe he is that, but he's also something else, right? Like there's multiple sides just from the music. Like you can't just keep giving me this version of Biggie who's like this, like, I'm gonna take care of you. Bro, like, come on, chill. Like I get it. It's from a mom's point of view, so God bless her. She's just trying to, depict her son the best way. But I like this, bro, because legit, this is the first time I got the full spectrum of, so we think, right? We don't know. But having the video content and how they sat on those videos for almost 16 years, it's like a stock, bro. They're like, I'm holding this shit, so they paid me the right fucking price. Because like, bro, that was priceless, bro. Like just hearing him talk about certain, like, yo, I've never seen those interviews before, or that footage. So like, it felt the most whole story, about him, and it wasn't overshadowed by Diddy. You know what I mean? Like Diddy was just a character in the fucking story. The same thing with Tupac. It was just a character in Biggie's story, but it was his whole story, bro. Like, yeah, him being going to school, him trying to make it, him, you know, like it was a whole story that made you appreciate him. And especially that story about the local jazz musician pulling him aside and teaching him certain things on how to fucking rhyme over drums. And like, yo, this really made you feel like, yo, this is a fucking artist. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't just some like shit that he just like, I'm gonna put a song out, let's see what happens. Like, yo, this guy was a fucking artist that were levels to this shit. And like, even on like certain tracks on Ready to Die, he's like, bro, I'm just saying it if I was at that place. I'm not there yet. But like, then I love the way they slowed it down and like had the lyrics pop up when he was rapping. And I'm like, bro, this is just phenomenal, bro.
Yeah,
so
amazing content.
Amazing content, bro. So yeah, like that was at a most hip hop stories, bro. That's probably the most impressive one. I hopefully they do one for Pac like that. Yeah. Because even with Pac shit, like again, it was more about the Hollywood of like making the Tupac movie as opposed to like a real gritty documentary that just gave you like everything. You know what I mean? So this was dope, bro. This was like I truly believe that it felt like the most like insight we've ever gotten into Biggie's story.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I thought it was super dope when he like brought his uncle on board, like after he actually became quote unquote somebody.
Yep.
And whenever I hear these things, I'm like, you know what? Like, it must have been crazy hearing someone who had like zero success say like, you know, I'm gonna put you on like one day, or I'm gonna be the biggest thing ever, and you're like, man, you're just like a little kid, like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and then have it actually take place. And it sounded like even his mom like still didn't really buy into this,
understand what he was. And
he's like, yeah, she thinks I'm doing these little like $500,000 shows, meanwhile I'm breaking in like $10,000 a night. And I mean, to be fair, rap was relatively new at this time, so you know, no one ever really knew
what the money
could be like lucrative or anything. Whereas nowadays, everyone's trying to pimp out their kid to be like the next Bieber or whatever. But yeah, it just seemed like it was like a quintessential hip hop story. There wasn't anything too out of the norm from like what we might have heard, like in terms of like him just, you know, being a hustler and rapping on the corner and stuff. Like I don't think any of that was like particularly brand new to me, but just the way everything panned out, and like he just seemed like a regular ass dude to me. Like I feel like we could have talked to him and like related, whereas before this I was like, you know, this dude is this merciless kingpin who, you know, doesn't give a fuck about anybody. And it's like,
dude, especially that interview he did in LA when he got killed that weekend. You know, when he's in the booth, like when he's just talking and standing, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to be a dad. I'm trying to like, you know, open businesses, you know, and that's like the most like, and he didn't have his glasses on, so you see his lazy eye. You know, he's just like mad chill. Like, yo, like I'm just trying to fucking live my life. Like I didn't start this fucking beef, you know what I mean? And like, that's like, and again, another thing from this, bro, I just feel like that rose to the top of all this was just the artistry, bro. Like, I think we all just said, yeah, Biggie's the best. Yeah, just say he's the best. But bro, like, you get that in this. Cause again, it's just, I think we brought up either on this pod or on the interview with my brother about Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z was like a hustler. And like, yes, he's a great storyteller. And he just figured, hey, I can hustle this. I think Biggie, like, I think he knew he was just dope, bro. And like, so dope. But there was a way he did it that he like, it wasn't just he just spoke and it came out fire. I think he was learning so much at an early age about different things in music, because he was a singer. He listens to different jazz artists. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like he really understood music and then figure out a way. All right, this is how I'm gonna do it my way. Whereas I think other people just like, yo, I need to figure out a way to make money and I'm gonna rap decently and just put shit out. I really think Biggie, like legit, no pun intended, like had a story to tell and was just waiting for him to properly educate himself on the way to make music. And then when it finally came out, dude, we got art. And it just sucks. Again, like also like, dude, like when they were putting his age, like good for them, like the content, like it made great content, but also, you know, so depressing. And again, amazing that this person had that much impact at fucking 21, 22, 23. Like, how the fuck were you the biggest rapper in the world at 24 years old? But then to, you know, get killed at 25, 26, it's like, bro, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. And I'm glad he elaborated on the theme of Ready to Die, because I mean, one, he disclosed that he wasn't suicidal and
At all.
I never really understood what Ready to Die meant. Like, is he paranoid? Is someone out to get him or whatever? But he's just kind of like, you know what? No, it's just sometimes I'm like, what if I wasn't here and didn't have to deal with XYZ? And I've definitely felt that way before. Like, I haven't been like, oh, I'm gonna end my life. But there's been times where I'm like, man, wouldn't it be nice to like not have bills and drama and all this bullshit to deal with? Like, just like be neutral, like no pain, no happiness. You're just not dealing with bullshit.
Yeah, because he even said, even if I'm in heaven or hell, I'm not gonna have to deal with this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm ready to die. Like that might be a cool feeling, just not have to deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah. And I think that he tapped into what we appreciate from artists is just like that relatability factor of like, oh, this person's speaking to me, even though they're not, like they're speaking about their own life, but like we're all, regardless of what background you come from, like can relate to at least some elements of what the artist is like putting out there. And I think walking away from that documentary, I was like, damn, he was just like a real ass regular person that happened to get put on. And I think even his boy, I forget his name, like DC or something, whoever was D-Rock, who was filming the thing, he was like, damn, they're doing all this shit for Chris. Like they really you know, screaming and doing all this extra shit for him. Like to him it's just his boy, but like to everyone else he's like a god.
Yeah,
so
man.
I thought that was dope.
Such a good documentary. So yeah, shout out to, that was great, bro. So Netflix, you know, obviously Netflix always puts out dope content, but yeah, definitely if you are a Biggie fan or needed, like, if you really want to learn the true story, again, we don't know. Again, obviously we're just taking it as like people can always, you know, edit shit the way they want, but this just felt real. So highly recommend it to any hip hop fan. Like if you're a hip hop fan, you got to watch this. Like there's just no way you don't watch this.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking about people in film and artists, I know you wanted to bring up the Lady Gaga incident from last week. That was kind of wild. So let the people know what happened, and obviously we'll chop it up.
Yeah, essentially, her dog walker got shot in a robbery.
Did he survive?
Because
dude, like
he survived,
the midst of
I believe.
Okay, cool. In the midst of this, no one talks about like okay, cool. Yeah, because I didn't know if he survived.
So he survived, and the robbers stole the French bulldogs, and that's why they did this in the first place. And for those who aren't familiar, so the reason why I won't say I'm passionate about this shit because I really don't care, and not that I don't care about this person's life. I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, as long as the person's alive, I don't want to draw this story out. But I saw several comments, and a lot of these articles failed to mention why these robberies take place, because I'm familiar with them in California, and it's because the French bulldogs are expensive as shit. And
yeah, like $6K.
So these thieves are like, yo, I can steal this fucking puppy and sell it for $6K. Like it's a walking
or
Rolex.
Breed the puppy and you just make $6K every time they have a fucking puppy.
Yep. And you'd be like, yo, by the way, does your dog have a dick? Because I have a female French bulldog in my car. If it does, bang, take the dog, go breed. Yeah. And then all of a sudden your fucking house is worth like $500,000 or whatever. Yeah. But so that's why these robberies are taking place. I personally don't think they targeted Lady Gaga. Like, who gives a fuck who owns the dog? Like, I mean, maybe I guess you could say the bounty,
the ransom, maybe,
or the ransom. I mean, would be expensive, but they wouldn't be stupid enough. They would get caught. So, I think you and I both agree. The weird thing about this story that everyone else brought up too was it seemed like the focus was on the dogs and not the person.
No one was talking about this guy who got shot.
Yeah, like every headline, like Lady Gaga puts up $500,000 for the dogs or whatever, and like no article was talking about the well-being of this individual. Is he alive? Is she gonna fucking seek revenge and like put these dudes behind bars? It was like, yo, where's
the dogs? I need
Coco
the dogs.
And Snowball or whatever.
Oh man, I totally agree, bro. That was the weird thing about the whole story. Like, I've been trying to cop a French bulldog in the past. I'm never gonna buy a puppy again, so I'm not worried about that anymore. But I know they're mad expensive. So, but yeah, I think the weird non-human element of this was like, bro, like no one cares about this dog walker. Like I fucking clapped for some fucking puppies. Like that was the weird thing, bro. Again, it just makes you question society. Like, yo, what do we really care about? You know what I mean? Like, but yo, is there some like again? I know LA has gotten it pretty bad, or California's gotten it pretty bad because obviously the pandemic, people are unemployed, restaurants are closed, so obviously a lot of people are fucked right now. They used to be a server or a waiter. Yo, have you heard about these people robbing people in Beverly Hills for like their watches and as they're like approaching like their elevators?
Somewhat. So I have a friend he's pretty vocal about politics. He's like the guy in the group who's like pro-Trump. We still love him, but like he sometimes doesn't think straight about his arguments. And one of the things was he claims all the rampant violence in LA is because of this whole defund the police rhetoric, which I don't agree with. But I did, in fact, hear about this shit in Beverly Hills. So if you want to elaborate.
The videos. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos, man. It just seems that they're pinpointing a couple well-off people. And they're getting into people's like apartment complexes, and like the moment they're about to get on the elevator, go up the stairs, they're just robbing them at gunpoint. And there's a couple of videos on online on different social media platforms, and it's like gunpoint, give me your watch, give me your wallet, give me your jewelry, give me your purse, and they just fucking leave. But there's been, I think, at least 4 or 5 incidents in the last like couple weeks where this is happening, bro, which is fucking. Again, I think we kind of mentioned this before, bro. It's like that Tupac line or something, like, we're gonna ask you nicely to help us out, and if you say no, all right, then we're gonna come back and ask you more aggressive. So again, I'm sure it's a mixture of like, yo, the situation is really bad in LA, that people are really fucking struggling, but it's also fucking terrifying to think that people who just mind their business, are successful, are being held at gunpoint for just being rich. That's fucking terrifying.
For sure. And I know they probably would never expect something like this to happen in that area. I'm definitely familiar with the area, and I've never felt unsafe.
Right?
I do have a friend who I want to say at least his parents still live in that area, or like one of his parents. And he did mention that, people would hit licks or whatever in that area because they know if they stumble upon a safe, they might find a fucking $30,000 watch or whatever.
Yeah.
So I know home invasions were a thing, but typically these were the ones, the thieves who didn't want to encounter the actual owners of the home or whatever.
I got you.
I didn't realize they were going to this extent. That shit's wild to me, and that it has to be correlated with the pandemic and people just being desperate as hell.
Yeah, dude, but they always say that, bro. It's not the people in your neighborhood you need to worry about. It's the people in the other neighborhoods. When shit gets bad there, they're coming to yours. You know what I mean? They're coming to yours to get your shit. Right. But yeah, it just seems like, again, I can't remember a time it was that, vicious, where I think like it just seems very vicious right now.
Never. And for the first time, I've like before I bought a firearm, I was thinking to myself, like, do I really need this shit? Like, I don't live in the hood. Like, what's the worst that could happen? And then when the riots started happening and everything, I was still convincing myself, like, I know I don't need it, but I kind of want to get it just because I'm bored and like want to feel safer. And now for the first time ever, I'm like, I'm glad I have it, because I legitimately like feel like I don't have much control anymore. Like I could be in a nice ass neighborhood and some fool might just hop into my shit, or I could be in the hood and the same thing will happen. So I think it's kind of been top of mind.
Same. Like I'm thinking about getting a firearm myself when I get back in Tulum, just to, you got property, your cameras and security alarms can only do so much, you know what I mean? So like, if someone wants to get in, they're going to get in. So it's almost like you got to protect yourself, right? I can only grab, my Swiffer wet jet and do so much. You know what I mean?
I know. I had like a tennis racket and fucking golf club and shit. I'm like, if someone pulls out a fucking machete, like I'm definitely not trying to go against them with this Wilson racket.
Facts, bro. So like, I get that. So, but yeah, again, I just hope for obviously peace, man. No one wants to see like, violence breaking out and, especially to innocent people, bro. Like again, it's one thing if it's gang violence or like, a war, But if it's just innocent people just going about their business trying to get home, like you gotta feel, because that could be us, bro. We could just be walking home and like someone just fucking sticks us up and we're like, yo, really, bro? What the fuck we doing right now? So yeah, hopefully the pandemic, you know, things easing up in LA, people going back to work. You know, hopefully that just, you know, helps people that are doing this shit, you know, get back on their feet. What else do we want to bring up? I guess probably the last thing before we get into some music, and obviously you wanted to bring up an artist that we're gonna, you know, try to get on the pod at some point in the near future. Bro, super jealous of the people down under. I think Australia is going on 60 days with not one case of COVID. Phenomenal. And I think Tommy Impala just had a full concert this past weekend. Bro, like I'm talking about festival level people out there, and just everyone, no masks, enjoying life, no COVID cases. I'm just like, wow, that's fire. Because I'm just like, bro, that's all I want, bro. That's all I want.
Same. And every time you bring these stories up to me, I'm like, what's the catch though? Like, was it 30 people and they just called it a festival? You know, did everyone have to get tested 7 times before they went in? Like, what's the catch? But it sounds like these countries just handled it better than us. And I'm still going to go back to it. I think it has to do with the fact that we operate like 50 different states. Like
100%.
One state's wide open, the next one's a fucking communist country, and we're just not on the same page at all. Like, and that's the curse of America, is we're the land of the free. So people don't want to be told shit, like,
at
ever.
All. Yeah, 100%. Bro, Texas wide open. Fucking New York is still mandating now 2 masks. Florida's
They're
in
mandating
between.
2 masks?
I think it's 2 masks in New York, bro. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think my brother was talking about that as well. But they are opening shit back up though, like little by little. Like you can go to a Knicks game and a Nets game now. But yeah, dude, like we've been saying this shit for the whole pandemic time, bro. It's literally like in Italy, it's not Rome is doing this thing, Milan's doing this, Florence. No, bro, it's one rule. But yeah, dude, great point. Like, yo, in America, you ain't telling me shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're not telling me I can't do this, and if you do, you're a fucking communist. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Yeah, man. So, but to be on a positive note, though, as of last week, I think they said that like COVID cases are down like almost 50% nationwide because of the mass spread of or the availability of the vaccine now to more and more people. So again, I think we'll be in a good spot come the summer. So again, if that means that, you know, we'll have concerts and shit like in the fall again, you know, phenomenal, bro. But I'm just more excited for, like, dude, like my boys have a bar in Brooklyn. They've been closed since December. They're finally opening next week. So I'm just happy for like that, bro. Like people able to open their businesses again. You know, DJs are struggling because they haven't been able to fucking go to a bar to fucking, you know, do their craft. And I think, to give Biden some credit, I think in the stimulus package they just put out, a lot of that money is going to help out those restaurants that struggled the most in like major cities like New York and LA. So I mean, you know, hopefully we're moving in the right direction to kind of like finally help people get back to some kind of level of normalcy, and then obviously we'll have a new level of normal, you know, moving forward.
For sure, looking forward to it, man. When my girl came over this past weekend, across the way from my mom's house, we saw this group of, well, I don't want to call them kids, but people around our age, at the very least, were playing beer pong across the way.
Really?
Like, the amount of FOMO I got just from seeing that, like, it was to the point where we were like joking about holding up a sign like, yo, can we come over? It was like, we haven't been able to do shit. Like, just, I'm craving for some human interaction with like just being out and about and having fun and listening to music. Like, I took all that for granted. No, I won't say I took it for granted, because I definitely did as much as I could. But yeah, just
we didn't think it was going anywhere.
No, ever. And yeah, there's just something about being at a concert and listening to music you love for several hours with people you love, and just being able to, you know, reset your energy and be in that environment. It's like a beautiful thing, but at least we know it's coming back. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming back. It's coming back. Yeah, there's no way, like, music's not going anywhere. It's definitely coming back, but it's just when. But again, dude, once settle in to San Francisco, bro, come to Florida, bro. We'll go to the Shaman, stay in my house for a week, bro. Like again, and that's probably like the cool thing about, you mentioned beer pong, bro. Like, dude, my housewarming was lit. You know what I mean? It was like 30 of us, bro, and just like it was a blessing to have music blaring, everyone outside, you know, relaxing, talking shit, no mask on, drinking, beer pong. So like, yeah, man, like that, again, I complain because obviously I don't have like the one element I don't have is the concerts and the DJs and all that. But I mean, everything else, thank God, is relatively normal in Florida, bro. So I know I talk shit about the Santee because I think he's like a mini Trump, you know, puppet. But for the most part, bro, I would say if you gave a survey to most Florida residents, they're pretty happy in comparison to the rest of the country. For
sure. Yeah, I'll find my way out there very soon. I promise you that.
Nice. Can't wait. We'll do an episode on site. That's pretty much all I have, man. Any topics you wanted to touch upon before we get into Heat of the Week?
No, we could dive right in.
All right, bro. So Heat of the Week for this week, episode 64. Who did you want to bring up, and why should the people check him out?
Yes, sir. So for this Heat of the Week, the artist that I've been listening to, I actually met this artist through, or was like referred to this artist through my boy Boa, aka Cole. So this artist, his name is Angelo. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right, Carrero, and he has a new album called Throwaway Files. What intrigued me most is, if I'm not mistaken, he also masters and mixes and does everything.
Oh,
so
dope. That's
kind of like how, you know, Russ talks about doing that all the time. Like, this dude knows how to do that very well. And you can hear it from the music too. Like, when I hear shit, I'm like, this person knows how to like craft a song together. That's like always top of mind. Like, clearly he's been doing this for a while. And if he hasn't, like, it's a gift. And for me, the stick out songs, like, it was really hard to choose a favorite too. So I listened to this from start to finish. Of course. And the standout songs for me were No Luck, as well as Something New. Something New, what I love about it is it kind of gave me a more like old school R&B vibe. And I was thinking about this in the car, but I was like, yo, if he did a music video for this, it'd be funny if he did kind of like a parody play type of scene, like how Andre 3000 did with Hey Ya. Like, I'm imagining him dressed up in, like, you know, the more old school, like Motown-y type.
Gotcha. Because the song has that vibe, right?
Because it has like the harmony and everything. So I thought that was super dope. But No Luck was a super vibe. It kind of had a Caribbean tone to it. I could see like Drake even hopping on like a remix or something. But all in all, super high quality project. Definitely looking forward to more from him. My boy Boa's featured on one of the songs called Overdue, which is a banger as well. So definitely looking forward to having him on the podcast and interviewing him, you know, just knowing more about him and his journey, because he only has, I think, a couple thousand followers on Instagram, as well as Spotify. But like, when I hear his shit, I'm like, this dude must
more
have been
people need to
like,
know about this.
Like 100 years and must have like 1 million fans. So I think I'm definitely intrigued to hear, like, you know, what his journey has been like and what he's looking to do in the future. I believe he's from Canada as well. So shout out to the Six. And yeah, man, like, this shit was super dope. So keep it up.
What's his name again?
Angelo Carrero.
Nice.
And we'll post him like for Heat of the Week on the gram as well, and tag him and everything. So tune in.
100%. We'll bring that up for sure. And then just a mention to like other artists, especially up and coming artists, bro. Like, yo, everyone feel free to just hit us up. Like, yo, just send us your music. We'll definitely peep it. We'll give you honest feedback as always. And yo, if you're ever interested in being on the pod, let us know. And we'll fucking chop it up with you, you know, give the audience a chance to get to know you more. So feel free for sure, you know, any up and coming artists listening to this episode, just, you know, hit us up, you know, send us some music. And obviously we also appreciate free merch. So if you want to send us that as well, like, we'll take that. Dude, for me, Heat of the Week, bro, I mentioned a couple times now, it has to be What's Next by Drake on that Scary Hours EP. This shit's just fucking phenomenal to me. Like, I think it's just so well produced. I'm glad that he chose that song for the video as well that he did. Because it just, I don't know, that song just makes sense. Like that's the one that just fucking, just comes the hardest. So obviously I know everyone's already listening to that, so that's an obvious Heat of the Week. The second one is going to be a Heat of the Week that won't be available till Friday, but it's the my brother, the artist we just interviewed a couple hours ago, Leoden, album dropping on Friday called Shadow Play. Final track on the album's called Home. Phenomenal concept. When you guys listen to the interview on Thursday, you'll understand more about it. But it's a pretty trippy understanding of realization of coming from a certain place and then ending it at home. So, and then obviously, he's super talented, good songwriter, good production behind it as well. So I would say if you want some unsigned hype, I would go with Leoden, Home, and obviously run Scary Hours back a couple times for that What's Next track.
Dope. For sure.
Yes, sir.
We'll add that to the playlist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the moment it's available on Apple Music, I'll definitely I'll add the Shadow Play. But yeah, man, so let the people know what's coming up next for us and where they can find us.
Yes, sir. So coming up next, of course, we got interviews in the works. And like Danny mentioned, if you're an aspiring artist or creative of some sort and you think the Audio Theory podcast is a platform for you, feel free to reach out to us and we'll try to get back to you and work out something. And you can find us on audio-theory.com. So hit that link and you will be able to navigate and find us across all major platforms. Of course, the Spotify and Apple Music playlists as well. And outside of that, Danny and I are going to actually preview a song that I wrote as a tribute to my brother. So this will be a separate segment posted differently just due to the timing of when I'm releasing the track. But tune in to that to hear about the making of the song itself. Yeah, just want to give you guys a shout out for tuning in. Now we're, of course, beyond the 2,000 subscriber mark.
Crazy,
so
dude.
Sooner or later, it'll be 10,000 and 100,000. Before you know it, this is what we do on a daily basis or even just weekly. And then we get to chill the other 6 days. So.
Yeah, that'd be fire too, bro.
So we'll see.
Nice, dude. Yeah. Excited to definitely preview the song. Yeah, man, it's cool. We have like a lot of stuff in the works for this week. And, hopefully this becomes like a normal thing. And yeah, I mean, again, the feedback's been great recently. So again, if I keep telling you guys, engage, like, comment, send us a DM. We've had DMs now more consistently over the past couple of weeks because of what we've been doing, and we respond right away. Trust me. So we're very excited to engage with you. So just fucking hit us up, and we'll fucking more than happy to engage with you, let you know what we're working on, and if there's an artist you want us to listen to, let us know, and we'll more than happy check it out and talk about it on the pod.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Another week in the books. My dude, love you. Appreciate you. Peace.
Love you too. Peace.